Hello IB students, this is Mrs. Newkirk and this is a really quick tutorial video for your CAS. I want to make sure you are all using ManageBack and all of the tools that have been provided for you. So you can see here we are starting with the IB website that we built, and it is on the Granada homepage, so you can get to it there. Using this site, you could go to CAS. That's where we're going to go because we're talking about CAS today. Click on the CAS link, and if you click that, it'll take you to projects. If you go back and just click on CAS, you're going to see this is the page that describes what CAS is, what to expect. There again takes you to ideas and projects. It also has a flow chart for using ManageBack where it goes step by step from adding a new experience like the design club to, and you can see Chloe is the student, right? And then Richard, who is a CAS coordinator, who's me, would approve the experience using ManageBack. And then we can see that there's also an experienced supervisor right here, Dieter, who will get involved, but Chloe then completes the experience and starts to add reflection. Richard, then the coordinator, reviews it. I mean, you guys can see this step by step. ManageBack has actually created this flowchart to make it easier for you. So please use the tools. All right, and you can click right here just to go to ManageBack in case you can't figure out how to get back to ManageBack. Also, the CAS flow is on our site, and this is really, really important because there's a process to completing your CAS. Again, CAS is not something that should be looked at as kind of a burden and like a nuisance, but it's really kind of a really unique opportunity that students in traditional schools will not get. And this is going to set you apart from others. But you need to follow the process and the flow. So some of it has to do with self-evaluation and pre-planning. I've asked you guys to think about what do you already do. Let's not add more to your plate, but let's maximize what you do and look at it in new ways. Creating a plan, and you're going to meet with me. I'm sending out meeting slips, and you guys have all put in the dates and times that you can meet. So you're going to meet with me, and I'm going to be here to kind of help nudge you in the right direction and get you started. All right. Then you're going to see that it branches off to carrying out your plan, collecting evidence, putting in ManageBack, meeting again with me to help you out. And then reflecting evaluation is something that a lot of students will forget about, but it's so important because that's what makes the IB CAS experience unique. And of course, we'll get to the preparing and submittal part in your senior year. So I want to make sure you know that this resource, this website, I spent a lot of time building my website, so I hope that you can check it out. One of my favorite parts of this is this right here, this link, because it goes over all the different components of CAS and gives you some ideas to think about what you can do. For example, I just posted this. This is a CAS video that a student made for their CAS, and so you can see it's really a good idea putting creativity but also providing a service for the school by creating a video that explores some of the topics of IB. And then clicking here, in case you're really stumped and you just don't know what qualifies as a CAS idea or not, you can click right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at ManageBack. Okay, so I'm on the ManageBack page, and I'm actually logged in as a student, a fake student. Name's Eddie Snowden. And you can see that when I get to it, I usually will come across, it'll say like overview and just says, you know, or my dashboard actually, I think is what comes up first. Okay, so you'll see there are posts. Pay close attention to this. There's also over here in the corner where you can get messages. I send out messages doing this, but you see that we've been putting in some things on the calendar for you to look at. Like the most current one is the CAS option to be a poll worker, and you may want to do that because that is considered service. So once I'm on my dashboard, here's what I want to do. I want to go to my IB manager. I'm going to click on CAS, and this is where I can start submitting my CAS experience. So I'm going to go ahead and click here, and you can see what this looks like. This is where I put in my experience name. So for example, I'm part of the Me to We Club, and so we're coming up with an idea to basically create a coffee cafe with the special ed students to help raise money for them to go to Disneyland. I know some of you have had kind of a passion for wanting to help them, and so this has actually come up, Matt's Cafe coffee service with, and I'm just going to say with SPED. And this is going to be a CAS project. It's going to be ongoing. It is going to be community-based. We are helping, and it's going to be school-based. Okay, we are definitely, I see where it's going to be creativity because we're going to have to advertise with this. So I can go ahead and put in creativity and how many hours I think I'm going to be spending on this. I can make a guesstimate, okay? Activity, I'm going to be help running coffee at least twice a week. So I'm probably going to get roughly 30 minutes, probably an hour a week, and I plan on doing this for the next 12 weeks. So I'm going to say 12 hours of activity. Service, for sure, service again, probably around 12. Okay, the types of service, look, it says right there, if you go over this, student interaction involves people. Yes, it is. Okay, and okay, collected information through varied sources, data, not so much on this. Advocacy, back of a cause of concern, no. Well, not secrecy. Yeah, no. So we're just going to go as a direct service. Now, here I'm going to put my dates and we're going to meet. We're going to start this planning process, which is going to require us to definitely be creative on the 5th because we meets on the 5th of October. It meets every Wednesday. Y'all are more than welcome to come. And then we're going to go ahead and put into December. So let's just go ahead and pick here. I can always add it again if we continue on. I'm hoping we'll continue on with our Matt's Cafe. Now, supervisor name. I know Mrs. Newkirk is the club advisor, so I could put that down. I could put Newkirk. I could do Bowie. Let's say if I'm working with Miss Bowie, Miss Woodsmall, who manages the special ed program, but you'd put in whoever the club advisor's name or whichever adult you're working with, and how do we get a hold of them? Because as your coordinator, I may need to reach out to them and kind of ask them questions. Now here's where your description is. Again, we're in the planning phase. I haven't done this yet. I'm planning on doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and write down the exact plan, describe it, be very specific. Okay, pitching this idea of Matt's Cafe. We're going to sell coffee by putting slips in the staff room and emails to staff, and they can order coffee. We're going to deliver the coffee before school starts, about 7:45, twice a week, and also after second period. We're going to be working with the special education students to help teach them how to use the machines, to count money, to advertise. So we're definitely doing all this. So I'm going to be very specific here, okay, in this section. The more information, the better, because it's going to help you reflect later. Now, please select your learning outcomes. Don't just willy-nilly click this, because when I go to review it and you're putting global engagement and you're making coffee, I'm going to be like, oh, how is that global engagement? Think about it, okay? I definitely think for strength and growth, it's going to require me to kind of get out of my comfort zone and interact with people that I've never done. Maybe I've never planned a project like this before. So I'm definitely taking some initiative, all right? I'm being collaborative. I'm working with teachers, the Meet a We Club Advisor Newkirk. I'm also going to be working with Woodsmall and Bowie and their students. So there's a lot of collaboration that's going to be going on. It's going to require me to definitely challenge myself for sure, because I've never done this before. I need to be committed. I can't just not show up, for sure. Okay, now I want you to think about, these are all things that are in your learning outcomes in your creativity, action, and service guidebook that I gave you. Also, you can find that on the website. All right, so I would add this CAS experience. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and click it. Okay, so it was successfully created. I go through, and when I'm done, you can see actually I have two things on there. All right, I can start adding in notes and interviews with obviously with Miss Newkirk, the coordinator. If I want to add a note right here for her to see, oh, by the way, our meeting was canceled. I'm going to have to come back to that. I can't. You can see my progress here, and this is what IB will be looking at, because we just submit straight from here to IB. They want to make sure that you're living, a balanced life, especially in these areas, and that you're not only focused on, I can do a lot of activity, but I'm not helping anybody else, okay? So they want to see that you are doing what you need to do, okay? So when you add that, the teacher, the coordinator, that's me, I actually get to look at that and approve it and maybe give you some feedback. Now, when you've done this, after you are are ready, you've done the hours, you've done the work, you can start submitting your reflections. And that's really, really, really important, okay? So I want you to think about that. When it comes to reflections, go ahead and click on this. That's being slow. Come on. Okay, when you click on this, it gives you some ideas of how to go about doing, especially the reflection part, but kind of what you need to do. So for each of your activities, you're going to want to show evidence of planning and organization, and that's where I would start keeping documents. Maybe create a Google Drive just for your CAS, and there you keep your planning forms. You want to be able to show that you've had an effort and commitment, that you've made this, that you've had active reflection. So you want to think about how you want to do this, and maybe it is taking like minute notes of like interactions you have with teachers or at club meetings or whatever. Okay, you can definitely do this on your phone and then upload it into, copy paste it even into a Google Drive. And then your guide to reflection, because reflection is so key. This is really, really, this is really, really important, is to think about, sorry about that guys, to think about like, what do you perceive and notice, okay, especially at different stages. Like maybe what you thought was going to happen did not end up happening. We'll talk about that in a reflection. All right, how you feel about being involved in something, was it a positive experience, what is a negative experience, at what point, maybe at one point it was not very positive and then it made a turn for the better. All right, what do you think and feel about the activity itself? And again, it doesn't have to be service-based, it can also be about maybe trying a new sport or a new activity or setting a new goal for yourself there. All right, so please make use of all these tools. I want to show you, because before time runs out, that one of the cool things about ManageBack is this. Look, you click help and they have everything you need to know, from adding a CAS activity, to working on CAS reflections and evidence, to all, obtaining supervisor reviews. So you can go ahead. They also have how-to step-by-step guides, video guides. I mean, it's just so nice to use. So here again, it gives you adding a CAS activity, how you go about doing it. I mean, simply like I just showed you that. Okay, what about groups? Do you want to create a group? Maybe we want to create a group here. All right, looking at adding new CAS activities. Oh, right here, that's what I want to show you. Okay, there you go, CAS, there you go, add reflections and evidence. Okay, so here this student was in the design club, and you've done some things in your design club. Now we want to add a reflection about how some of those things went. So you want to make sure that you're making good use of all the tools that we have for you. Okay, ManageBack is actually really helpful. The best way to get comfortable with it is honestly playing around with it. You can even write me a note like, Newkirk, this isn't really a CAS activity, but I'm trying it out. So like fake activity. And we can look and see like, okay, how did it go? But let's try to get these CAS activities put in there, so then you can have time to reflect and even gather evidence. Now, evidence can be a picture, it can be a brochure, it can be so many different things. Okay, so we'll go over this with our one-on-one meetings, but I want to get you guys started, okay, and getting used to using not only the IB website, but the ManageBack website. So please get on there as soon as possible and look for our fall newsletter. It'll be posted on the website. That keeps you kind of up to date with some opportunities and options that are coming up. Okay, thanks guys.